Hello. Today, I want to share my opinion about the Scar H. I've been using it for more than 8 months in all kinds of scenarios, including clan wars against S and A tier clans. This video was recorded at the start of December. And the current stats of plus 15 Arsenal Scar H you can see on your screen. In terms of attachments, it has almost everything you might want, except magazines. Magazine options are really limited. You have default mag for 20 rounds, which feels almost unplayable, NATO P mag for 30 rounds, and ergonomic mag for 25 rounds. Without the buyable mags, it's very punishing. With only 20 rounds, almost every fight where you miss a couple of shots is a fail. Especially at medium or long range where you will miss some shots because of the recoil. With the 25 round mag, I can usually kill up to 2 enemies in close combat, or 1 enemy at long range. Almost every time after kill, I reload to be sure I'll have enough bullets for the next enemy. In terms of recoil, the overall feel is understandable and controllable. You get a small bump after the first shot, then 2 to 3 small sways over the whole mag. It's stable, easy to learn and comfortable to play with. If I compare it to the SA58, Scar H has a little bit more overall recoil. But it doesn't have that big first bullet jump, which makes it feel smoother at the start of the burst. If I compare it to the AK-15, Scar H feels more stable and less jumpy, but it still hits hard. Overall, it's quite close to SA-58 recoil, just slightly harder, but without that big initial jump, and more stable than the AK-15. Attachment-wise, you can build the Scar H almost however you like. It has all different attachments, with hard limit only for mags. And most combinations can work. It really depends on your playstyle. My usual setup is 25 round magazine plus RK2 grip plus Lantac flash hider. Why I use this combination, but not others. The 25 round mag helps compensate for the aim time debuff from the RK2 and gives me a really nice hip fire spread. It feels balanced between control and mobility. RK2 I use to minimize misses on mid-long range, and for same reason I use Lantac. The biggest problem, as I mentioned before, is the lack of big mags. This makes the Scar H quite bad for operations and for serious PvE farming. Here is an example of how farming with the Scar H looks in the open world. And even a 30 round magazine won't save you from this experience. Usually, if I'm planning to farm hard, I take another weapon instead of it. But for daily quests, I often just use the Scar H anyway. It's good enough for them. Now let's move to PvP, where the gun is much more interesting. Mid-range is where you'll feel this gun the most. At that distance, it is better than almost all guns we have in the game at the moment. In close range, it's definitely weaker than most of the guns. But you won't feel completely hopeless. You will still have chances against them. The difference isn't that huge. Especially if your aim and positioning are good. Best session battle maps for the Scar H in my opinion are Collapse and Inferno. On these maps you can make a huge amount of good kills and even out-damage most snipers, except VSS, if you consistently hit headshots. On Coliseum it is playable, but not ideal. Moria and Prison will really require your full attention and skill to get a good score with the Scar H. On Clan Wars, it is not a meta weapon, but it is definitely competitive. I'm getting high placements on the scoreboard quite regularly with it on any map. Can I do better with other guns in Clan Wars? Yes, I can. It's not a perfect weapon, but it's decent. And if you like its style and recoil, you can absolutely use it without feeling weak. For open world PvP, Scar H is actually quite good. I'd even say that it might be its strongest area. On open locations it performs really well. You can fight very effectively at mid-range and adapt to different situations without constantly switching weapons. Most of the time, I don't even need to pull out my sniper rifle. I only swap to a sniper for really long-range shots, or when I have a lot of time to prepare the shot. Okay, I think by now you understand this gun quite well, so let's talk about the problems and why you might not want to build it. It's a buy-only gun. You have to buy it and then upgrade it in the arsenal to make it really playable. It doesn't cost some insane, impossible amount of resources, but it's still a decent investment. You might say, Stalcraft, I want to try a mid-range 7.62 gun. It's not a problem for me to spend more than 10 million on a good gun. The Scar H is a nice-looking gun, no doubt. But the AK-15 will do almost the same job, with similar performance at mid-range, better close-range potential, and bigger magazines, which you will benefit from very often. So does it really cost to get little bit better mid-range for 5 bullets less from ergonomic mag, no option for big mags? Much higher price and worse close range. For me, the biggest problem with the AK-15 is the overall shooting feel. The recoil doesn't provide the level of stability I expect. It's too jumpy and unpredictable. Whenever I miss a shot at long range, I end up blaming the gun because it often feels completely uncontrollable. That's the main reason I can't enjoy the AK-15. On top of that, I'm not a fan of how the AK-15 looks, while I really like the design of the Scar H. These two reasons are why I used the Scar H instead of the AK-15 for the last 8 months. So, to sum it up, if you just want a mid-range 7.62 rifle to try a different playstyle and you don't have much resources or alternatives, go for the AK-15. It's much cheaper, more forgiving because of the bigger mags, and more universal for open-world content. If you already have an AK-15 and you like how the Scar H looks, you're okay with small mags and you want a fresh mid-range experience, go buy Scar H. It will give you a lot of nice moments, a very stable and satisfying mid-range feel. And it's absolutely playable and competitive in PvP, especially in open-world mid-range fights. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions for the next gun review, feel free to leave them in the comments. Have a great hunt!